Have you ever forgot to fit one of these? Queen excluder? Well, I've got a hive here that I've run pretty much all season long without a queen excluder, just to see how much of a pain it could be and how far up the queen will actually start laying. Some people do say that the queen excluders can exclude honey, so it'll be interesting to see. We've not inspected this hive for about 2 to 3 months, so I have no idea if she's swarmed. I have no idea what sort of honey they've got. So we're going to do a full inspection. It's going to be a long video, I'm afraid. Now stop me waffling on and we'll jump straight into it. So this is it on a glorious day, nice and busy. So we've got an abello floor, we've just got a national brood, or national deep, 2 national deep, no queen excluders, and then we've got some shallows on top. So we've got 3 shallows. I've never really gone through this properly as a full inspection really. I've just added boxes when I've sort of seen them bearding outside, and I've just sort of had a gauge that they needed some more space. So we'll go in and have a proper look, take the roof off, and see how busy they are and see if we've still got the original queen. Right, we'll get to it. We'll get this off. Now these 2 convenient nukes next to me as a bit of a bench. I'll just put that all there. Put the crown board off. So I put this super on a few weeks back just to give them a bit more space. So let's see what we're doing up here. Still on foundation there. However, we do have some drawn out frames there and starting to cap over as well. No signs of any brood in there, but they're just sort of working this and then back really. So we'll get into the box underneath it. Yeah, that's the weight of the box. My finger's in the middle, sort of tipping forward like that. And what have we got here? So we'll pull out the middle frame. It's heavy. So we're mainly honey. There is some signs that we have had brood in these lower cells. But do we have any brood in them at the minute? Maybe 1 or 2 cells. But mainly they've started to backfill that with honey. And I'd say that goes for the rest of the frames in here. Let's go to one that's a bit more on the outside. Let's clean these off. So this is actually an F2 colony. So no fanciness about it. But I must say the mother that she's come from is actually a really nice queen. Yeah, a bit more further to the outside, fully capped off. Looking at the shadow that the honey's giving, this top section might be oilseed rape potentially, it might be granulated, but this lower section looks like it's reasonably new in. It's a different shade. That's a nice surprise. Pop this off. That is extremely heavy, as you can probably tell by my voice. So this is the 3rd super, so it's above the 2 brood boxes. Again, no queen excluders, so I'm probably expecting to see some brood in these frames. Like I say, we are at the end of July, so things will start slowing down. The outside frame, not a lot happening. A little bit of nectar. There's a little bit of weight to it, to be fair. A little bit of nectar on the inside of the outside frame as well, so that's not too bad. Let's just pop that there for now. And see what we've got. Oh crikey, well stuck together. That's a solid frame of honey. They're just starting to cap it over there, and that's well capped over. Okay, well that's promising. Frame of honey. So I am sort of expecting to see a bit of brood in here. Typical wax foundation. Couldn't really be bothered with that bit to pull out. It's our first signs of brood there as well, a little bit of drone brood just at the bottom there, which is probably not far off hatching out. So what, we're 4 frame in now, starting to get to the centre. Looks like they've hatched out and they've actually backfilled that with nectar and capped it over. And same down there. Looks like it has been used for brood. There is a couple of signs of drone cells in there still. But you'll tend to find that they will backfill. Like it's when you do demorays, you'll find they'll backfill those new cells that have hatched out with nectar pretty quickly. Yeah, wax foundation. But honey, apart from that little bit there, looks like a drone brood, just being a bit lazy to hatch out. Some people say you shouldn't do this, but when people tell me that I shouldn't do stuff, I automatically go and do it, just to see why not. There is a bit more, again, drone brood on the inside of this frame, just on the bottom there, but nothing too substantial. They're obviously really thinking about just keeping the queen downstairs. Wax foundation again. Weird that I found that with a wax, they are a little bit reluctant to potentially draw it. See, that's a prime example there. All this was drone brood, it's hatched out and they've backfilled it with nectar. A couple of other little drones that haven't hatched out yet, that's effectively what they'll do. Now we're getting to the outside frames. Pretty much the same story, mainly all nectar now. And I doubt very much the queen will be up this high now. And that's a good solid frame. Look at that. Absolute chocker of honey that weighs a lot. And again, maybe a couple of drone broods in there, but that is mainly nectar. So now we're into the brood boxes. It will be interesting to see. I suspect there will be quite a lot of honey in here. And see if we can find the queen. That's a very heavy frame of honey. As you can tell, they're really starting to think about storing. That's 100% nectar, that. Put that down here, I think. We've still got a very good queen in. That is chocker, mainly worker brood, but again they're starting to backfill some of the cells with nectar as they're hatching out. Certainly thinking about closing down for the end of season. Nice brood, good patterning with the honey on the outside actually. That's good. Yeah, we're certainly packing some solid frames. Very hard to flip and get in front of the camera, to be fair. It's good. I mean, doing it like this, it's each to their own in beekeeping. I'm not one to start preaching saying you should do it like this, you should do it like that. Yeah, there's some things that I would definitely recommend, as in treat for varroa. But if you wanted to run with or without a queen excluder, I'd say it's completely up to you. It can be a bit of a faff if you want to spin out some honey and you've got loads of brood in your supers, but if you leave it long enough they will start moving stuff downstairs, which is pretty much what these lot are done. I didn't take anything off them in spring, and I've just decided to leave them and take off at this time of year, summer, late summer, and just potentially just to run it as a bit of an experiment. Again, they're backfilling that absolutely solidly with nectar. That is so heavy. Absolutely unbelievably heavy. nectar and nectar. I mean, so far they're not actually, they're quite chill as well, aren't they? I mean, again, F2, and some people say F2s are really aggressive. I don't know if I've been really lucky but I find a lot of the F2s I have here are actually really nice. Again, brood that's hatched out being backfilled. The same there. We're getting to the end frames now, and we're just very much getting to your normal end frame stuff. Honey, nectar, and obviously you've got your pollen storage as well, just in there with some nectar as well. So even though we did have quite a bit of brood this end, it's sort of pretty much is starting to be backfilled with nectar. So we'll see what the bottom box is like. No signs of any queen cells or hatched out queens or anything like that. Let's get into the bottom box. And so we're in the bottom box now. Let's just get a frame out and work. See if we can start seeing a queen. So we've got a bit more brood in here, and we're just starting to run the ring of nectar around the outside here. And that's the back side. I'll pop that up there, it's not going to cause any issues. Yeah, these are certainly lighter frames, and there's the queen. And that is the original queen. So it shows you just sort of give them unrestricted sort of run of the hive. Yes, it can be a pain, don't get me wrong. It can be an absolute nightmare, and I'm not disputing that. But if a beginner beekeeper wanted to run a colony with no queen excluder because they didn't have time to inspect every week, and if you had the kit just to add boxes on as and when, it just shows potentially they're just quite happy and they'll just stay. She's an F2, nothing too flash about her. She's been a nice queen. They're nice bees. But I am quite impressed actually. I wasn't really expecting to see her. I thought they might have swarmed, but it's just nice that she hasn't. Let's just go through and see what sort of brood she's got down here, and then we'll probably build it up and then think about taking some honey off her. Good frames of brood with the pollen. And these frames are a lot lighter, but again, some good brood. Always check your larvae, make sure they're nice and pearly white, make sure that don't look any signs of disease. As well as your cappings, you want to make sure your cappings aren't greasy and sunken. Interesting, the sort of opening up some brood there, a little bit of ball brood. You're opening that up. It's worth looking into. Just see what that is, but everything else looked pretty healthy. But yeah, just see there, we've just started to open up this brood pattern here. Could be signs of hygienic behaviour, or they suspect there's a problem with the larvae there. They did look quite formed. Again, good brood, young bees, bit of drone brood now. The reason why I'm going into these now, I'm thinking about taking them to the heather in a few weeks because they've got a good amount of numbers, and potentially they've got good stores as well. So they should see out the first week, just before the main flow comes on, quite happily. If I keep them on their double brood configuration. But yeah, these frames are quite light now. They're just quite happy to choose what they want the queen to lay in and what they want to use. So there you go. I think that is the full inspection of this colony for 2 or 3 months. And I don't think it's been that bad. Like I say, you don't have to take the spring crop off, you can leave it on. I mean, yes, it might granulate, but this year they used it all because we had bees starving left, right and centre because it was so cold and wet. There we go, pop that back in. Give them a bit of space there. So what did you think to that? I think it was quite surprising for myself. It was obviously quite a bit of honey, but like I mentioned, I didn't take a spring crop off. So I left them with it, left them building up, just kept giving them space. We have actually harvested those 2 supers, so they're currently just on a double brood with a super on, but they're storing lots and lots of honey. So potentially we're going to take off some more honey this coming weekend. But obviously we saw the original queen, which was a nice surprise because she is actually a really nice queen. So whether the queen excluder and the full reign of the hive has just allowed her just to stay and stop that swarming impulse from the hive, I don't know. I'll let other people be the judge of that. Stick in the comments below what you guys think. If you got to the end of the video, thank you so much. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up. If you've not subscribed, please consider. If you enjoyed it, and if you didn't enjoy it, please consider anyway, because there might be another video you might like. Enough from me waffling on again, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, bye.